So I recently came across a video about specialized words, special words in regions of the United States that might not be used everywhere. But it's kind of an old video. So what I want to do is explore these and see which ones might be common now or which ones may be already outdated. One really interesting thing about language, it changes because people use it. People experiment. New words are added to the dictionary every single year. But some things stick and some don't. For example, the word cool. That word started meaning good, and then it stuck. And now people still say cool. It's a word that became popular and then went even further and went into normal usage. Everybody says cool now. Almost everybody, right? That's so cool. Okay. Well, that happens because at some point people started saying it and it became the cool thing to do. But it could have easily died. So sometimes a word will emerge into the language. Maybe it gets added to the dictionary, maybe not, and then it fades and it kind of dies. Okay, so that's what we might call a fad, F-A-D, fad. Something that goes boop and then crashes. And a word that is kind of right in the middle might be something like FOMO right now, fear of missing out. So FOMO, is that word going to be a long-lasting word that becomes accepted into the language, into common usage? Maybe. Or maybe not. It's kind of on the line right now. It's not clear if it's going to become one of those. So let's explore this. I've got a video. I found this video recently. I find it very interesting, and we're going to just go through it, kind of word by word, watch it together. All right, here we go. This has got to be New York. I already know this is New York because I live in New York, and I know this has got to be New York. That's what a deli looks like. This, if it's not, I would be shocked.
So what do you think of those New York Mets?
They're the best. I love them.
Did you watch the games?
Every game, every night till 12 o'clock at night.
No wonder you were sleepy all day at
When you
work.
think about the way someone
They look like actors. Is that real?
from another part of the country talks, one thing that strikes you are the words that they use.
Do y'all have chicken fried steak? I would like chicken fried steak, hush puppies on the side, cream gravy, and an iced tea, please.
What's that?
This is hush puppies. This
Hush puppies. Hush puppies.
is a New York deli. If you want to nosh, if you want to eat, you could schlep all over the world. You wouldn't find what we got here. How about a poppy schmear?
How about a knish?
How about some kishka?
How about a nice bialy?
Now, wait,
Yeah, how about
wait,
some
time
Nova?
out, y'all. I don't understand a word you're saying.
Even though we all speak English,
Kishka.
there are many words and expressions used
Well, there you go.
in one place that might as well be Greek to people from somewhere else.
We're
Thank
talking about
you.
the Mets. I think she's talking about the vets.
This drink consists
So what is a? Hold on a second. All right. Well, I don't know what I can't. Hush puppy sounds familiar. I've heard it many times, but what is it? Hush puppy. I'm searching here. HUSHPUPPI. No, that's an Instagrammer. It was a hush puppy. Food. Ah, okay. On Wikipedia, hush puppy. A hush puppy or hush puppy, HUSHPUPPY, is a small, savory, deep-fried, round ball made from cornmeal-based batter. Okay, so it's a deep-fried ball. Oh, okay, I know what that is now. Okay. Now the guys in New York are calling it different things. They're pulling out a lot of words that you may not be familiar with, but that's one where I would say hush puppy, no. Not so common, maybe in specific regions, but I'm not super familiar with that.
syrup, ice cream, milk, and it's all mixed up and turns out to be a very, very fine drink.
And it's a milkshake, right?
No, it's called cabinet. And this
Cabinet? Cabinet? So when I see that, immediately I say milkshake. Milkshake. That's a milkshake. He's calling it a cabinet. We have I say we. Who is we? I know the word cabinet as something that you would have in your kitchen. You know, doors that you open and you keep things in there. That's in my mind what a cabinet is.
of Rhode Island's called a cabinet.
Okay. So, Rhode Island, a milkshake is called a cabinet. Is that common? If I'm going to Google the word cabinet, what comes up? It's just pictures of kitchens. There's no milkshake. But what if I search cabinet and then Rhode Island? Cabinet, Rhode Island. Okay. If I search cabinet, Rhode Island, then a bunch of pictures of milkshakes show up. Interesting. That's a new one for me.
You know, what is a gum band?
It's the gum band. It's the
Gumbian.
thing that like you wrap things up in.
Do you ever
It
hear?
stretches.
Do you ever hear another name for that?
Rubber band? I think some people call it rubber band.
Most
Not here though.
Let's hear. Okay, Pittsburgh. Gum band. That is a new one for me. So I would call it a rubber band. You put that around your wrist. You, as she said, wrap up packages with it. In Pittsburgh, it's called a gum band. Let me search that. Gumband. Gum band. I'm just searching Google Images. Yeah, a couple pictures. Not a lot, though. What if I search rubber band? That's what I would call it. A rubber band. And then it's all rubber bands. That tells you how common something is. If you Google image search it, you can learn everything you need to know about how common it is. Not everything, but you can learn a lot about how common it is from the number of results you get. How common is cabinet? Not common. How common is gum band? Maybe not so common. And also, this is pretty old. This is probably in the 90s.
Well, I'm in Honolulu, and it's quitting time. What do you say?
Well, you would use the Hawaiian term that everybody knows, which is pauhana. Work is finished.
Pauhana?
And everybody knows that.
I like that one. I didn't know that one, though.
Jambalaya.
Pauhana.
Jambalaya, oh yeah,
I
I
know
know
jambalaya.
jambalaya.
Love jambalaya.
What's that?
Jambalaya, you mix that with meat, jambalaya, rice, and you wear a season, and you cook it. That's good jambalaya.
Oh, that sounds great. Spicy rice stew. So jambalaya, when I think of jambalaya, I don't just think of rice stew. I think of specifically Cajun rice stew. So in the South near New Orleans, there's a type of food known as Cajun food. And they have specific words for things like fried rice and stew. So jambalaya is a rice stew. Yeah, it's delicious. But I think of that specifically as Creole Cajun food. Same as gumbo.
Yeah,
Anti-gumbo.
it's diagonal, skew.
Oh, we learned that before. That's like sigog. It's a sigogglin. Anti-gogglin. Interesting. Sideways. Skewed.
Off from the perpendicular, we'll say.
Anagoga, meaning non-square. Anything but
Non-square.
square if it's sitting swatch-wise.
South and west. Anti-gogglin. I don't know how common that is. Let me search. Anti-gogglin. I don't know if any Google images will come up. Definition of anti-gogglin. Slang dictionary. Crooked, uneven, out of alignment. What about Google Images? Anti-gogglin. Yeah, things that are not straight. There's a sideways church or a board. It's the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Is there? Okay. Okay. Doesn't seem common to me, but maybe.
Snickle Fritz, that's a good one. A Snickle Fritz.
Snickle
Yeah.
Fritz.
What's a
Snickle Fritz. Little kid would be a Snickle Fritz.
A little kid.
A rowdy little kid would be a Snickle Fritz.
A rowdy little kid. Pennsylvania.
What is
Snickle Fritz.
schlep?
Let me search this one. Snickle Fritz. Snickle Fritz. I've heard that word before, but I'm getting a bunch of pictures of a stuffed cat. No pictures of ornery little kids, but I'm getting a bunch of pictures of a stuffed cat. Must be the name of a character from a TV show. It's a TV show called The Big Comfy Couch, and the name of the cat is called Snickle Fritz. Okay.
What does schlep mean? Schlep means
Schlep, I know. Schlep is definitely an East Coast thing, kind of a New Yorker thing. And you're moving something around. You're carrying it around. You schlep it over there, schlep it over here, and schlep it over there. it feels like there's a lot of effort involved, or you don't really want to do it.
Carry, to lug,
Lug.
to schlep around, to walk around. Everybody in New York schleps. Everybody's carrying something. Everybody's schlepping someplace. We're all schleppers.
We're all schleppers.
Since you've been exposed to some New Yorkers, do you know what this word is?
Shelp? No.
Shelp.
Schlep?
Slep. 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 Oh, slep. Slep.
What does it mean?
Well, did you sleep? That's what I think.
He thinks it means, did you sleep? Maybe this guy's from the South, maybe Texas. He thinks schlep means sleep. What does that show you? That shows you that there are regions, pockets everywhere in the world where you have your own little dialect and your own special words and phrases that might not be known elsewhere. But usually, you know, because of movies and TV shows, a lot of those things will spread around, but not all of them.
Slip.
Slip.
Slip. Slip.
What's it mean?
Slip.
Slept last night in this room.
Words do
thinks it
tell a
also
lot
means
about
sleep.
the people in a particular place. In the Southwest, where the weather is always on everybody's mind, there are many expressions to describe rainstorms. Any kid from Oklahoma could tell you that. We learn the words we use in our regions the same way we learn our manners and customs from the people around us.
Yeah, of course. We don't think of language that way, though. We often think of language as this fixed thing that comes down from on high in the dictionary. It's not that way at all. It emerges from families, from interactions, from friendships, in regions, special areas. And then those things either stay in those places or they spread. And then if they spread and more people start to say them, then they enter the dictionaries. They enter the language. It goes from down to up, not from up to down. That's how language changes.
Mama, mama, I'm so sick. Call the doctor.
Any more
Quick,
words?
quick, quick. Doctor, doctor,
Okay.
will I die? Count to.
Or the people who raise them.
I think this is more about...
Just pick them up over here and wipe off your clothes.
Once kids become old enough, they learn their language from their peers, the kids that they play with, kids the same age or those who are
I
slightly...
think this part's more about the way that language is learned and the way that it's spread. So it starts with your family, and then eventually you start having these little experiments with your friends. And that's where you learn from your peers. So that's where a lot of experimentation happens. A new generation who might want to be a little different from their parents might say, all right, let's make our own sort of code words unconsciously. Let's make our own things that separate us from our parents. And that is a very powerful force because it creates a new generation of language that separates the generations one from the other so that you can kind of identify them. But then those words, those phrases, those idioms, those ways of expressing things then start to spread around, but at different degrees. There are no, as far as I know, hard rules that say which one is going to spread and which one isn't, which one's going to get popular or become popular and which one isn't, right? Like cool. Who knows that that's going to become of an extremely common word in everyday language? Who knows? I mean, who could predict that? It would be interesting to study whether you could engineer one word to be perfect at becoming popular. Maybe there is a study about that I haven't seen, but I find this whole process very interesting. And some of those things I know, maybe it's because I live in New York. Schlep is something that I hear very often and something I say very often, and I didn't really know the other ones, like Snickle Fritz, not very well at least. Cabinet, definitely not. Maybe it's just because I live in New York. That's possible. I have to think about that. Maybe I need to travel more. All right, guys. Well, if you haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, and also check out my full courses in the links in the description.